Thronefall is an excellent game that has just come out. It has one specific mechanic which makes it really exciting to play. At every level you will be attacked by waves of enemies. Between the waves is your chance to build and upgrade defenses. You also build buildings that produce gold you can spend on more buildings and upgrades. This process is surprisingly satisfying and makes you want to keep playing more. Currently, there are 3 levels or locations you can visit. There are 6 available quests for each of the locations. You earn experience points for completing waves. After collecting enough experience points, you level up and unlock a new weapon for your character, a passive perk, or a mutator. Every weapon forces a different playstyle on your side. Perks make the game a lot easier and mutators harder. The game becomes very difficult once you aim to complete the quests, which force you to equip a specific weapon and activate a few mutators. In order to complete the level then, you need to know which buildings to build and upgrade and when to do that. The choice of the appropriate perks is also vital at this point. I would like to give you a few tips on how to complete each of the levels, what to focus on and how to deal with some of the mutators. The first tip I'm going to give you is this. If you want to complete a specific quest but are having a hard time, go to another location and level up. Maybe you haven't yet unlocked some helpful perks or even the weapon the quest requires you to use. Or you might be missing some essential building upgrades. Now let's look at the locations. First up is Nordfels. Here I give a lot of general tips which apply to the other locations as well. The footage you see is a run with the Tiger and Turtle God challenges, meaning the enemies have much more health and deal a lot more damage. The perks I chose in this case are the Arcane Towers for greater range and damage of towers, Castle Fortifications for more range, firing speed and hit points of the castle, and Castle Blueprints for more health to the towers and walls. Overall, the longbow is my favorite weapon. It is best to use it here as you are gonna see a lot of flying enemies. Those can only be taken down by your archers, towers and in this case, you. But in many cases that is not enough and you will lose some money making buildings. Therefore, the most clever thing you can do here is to build mills with scarecrows. Those are able to counter the flying units. You should be able to take most of the early waves by yourself, or at least draw the enemies to you and take them for a walk. That can save your towers from being overwhelmed too early. In later stages, you want to be doing this with the giants especially. Provoke at least 2 and make the job much easier for your troops. As for the units, I like to use crossbowmen, archers, flails and that's it. But for diversity purposes, feel free to use knights or berserkers. Knights are probably better in this case as there are many crossbowmen incoming. The main point is that in this level you are not going to see many creatures, mostly soldiers and a few giants. As in every level, focus on early economy upgrades and buildings. Also keep in mind that it is pointless to upgrade certain buildings, such as houses, before the last wave. You are not gonna get the investment back. Unless of course you have activated the perk giving your houses attack, but you are usually not going to need it. This level is the easiest of the 3, so you shouldn't be having too much trouble completing all its quests once you have the necessary unlocks. As the first upgrade, I like to take the Builder's Guild, as it upgrades houses for you, granting you more gold. Do not waste any gold on defensive buildings you are not going to need the next wave. So if an attack is coming from the west, no point in building towers on the east side. Even though the knights can't attack the flying enemies, I still like to put them in the way just to draw fire. It might just save you a building or 2. As for the last castle upgrade, I like to take the one discounting your walls and towers every round. It is one of the later unlocks. After that, keep upgrading based on where the enemies are coming from, and near the end get some ballista towers. These should ensure you an easy victory and all quests completed in this area. The next one up is Durststein. Out of the 3 locations, my least favorite. I have yet to find the right combinations of mutators to complete the last quest, but I will have it soon. For now, I've activated the 2 mutators needed to complete the 5th quest. Enemies are faster and deal more damage. The perks again focus on our defenses. I'm using the light spear as there are many waves with extra fast cavalry and we need to slow them down. I tried going for double the amount of enemies in the first 3 waves, but that doesn't seem possible, as you would have to pair it with another challenge to make them have more health, damage or speed. Castle and 1 tower are all you need here. The rest of your gold should be invested. Before the next wave, we build more defenses as the enemies are coming from a new direction. Your goal always is to either slow down fast enemies or provoke the giants. For the castle upgrade, I again like to go for the house auto upgrading. It is also time to get some hunters. Those are effective against monsters. You want to hold control when positioning them. This way they will not run after the enemies but hold their ground instead. That is vital for any ranged units. I like to upgrade the mills soon as their 3rd stage give you a lot of gold. This mill here is for gold only and doesn't have any special powers. It is most likely not going to encounter any enemies. Many archers are incoming, so we need some walls, but most importantly we need a wind spirit mill that is going to block a part of the incoming arrows. At this point the waves should be fairly easy, as the main attack is going to come from one direction only. More troops are needed. I like to put the archers in this corner so they can shoot enemies on the other path as well. The survival of your castle lies on your ability to provoke the giants. At this point you should be in a pretty comfortable position. Your goal is to mostly upgrade the existing buildings. I always split the troops up and position them based on the types of enemies incoming. At this stage of the level, some areas are left undefended, which is where I position myself. Soon you should have an abundance of gold, so you are able to upgrade the castle. Again, the last upgrade for the tower and wall discount seems best. Don't forget to upgrade your barracks and archery ranges as well. Wall upgrades are also affordable now. By this time, you should have the money-making mill upgraded all the way. This is the only ballista tower you are gonna need here. Many giants are incoming, so it is essential to have it. Luckily, the wave is otherwise pretty easy. Here you need to ideally not die like I did. Even then you should be just fine. The final wave is here. Build what else is there, don't bother with economic upgrades and don't miss those barriers. It took me some time to actually notice them there. As you don't care about the gold received after this wave, you can technically get your mills destroyed. That would mean a lower score, but the main thing is surviving now. I find the final wave to be much easier than the early or mid waves. The enemies are coming at you in stages and not at once, so you have some time to regroup. To get the final quest, meaning get a 12,000 score, we would need to activate 3 mutators and not get anything destroyed or activate 4. You know the mutators give you a 20% score boost, but what you might not know is that 2 mutators active do not mean a 40% boost. It means you get a 20% boost and from the final score you get another 20% boost. Frostsee is a location where you want to use the heavy sword. It is very useful in dealing with swarms of small enemies. Does less damage, so the goal is to lure enemies away from your defenses. The bow itself is not bad, but I wouldn't use it unless a quest demands it. This level is really fun as you can earn loads of gold meaning you can really enjoy this core mechanic of the game, which is upgrading your buildings. But once you put mutators in the mix, you are pretty much forced to use certain perks countering those. One of the perks you might find useful here is the one that allows your level 2 houses to attack. You are gonna have a lot of houses here. In this example, I use the challenge of the Tiger, Falcon and Death Gods. I am forced to place down an early tower, making my income literally zero. With the sword, I can't take the enemies down so easily. The harbors are essential in this level. Each day they build a fishing boat that generates 1 gold every day. Upgrading the harbor doubles your income. We need to get there as soon as possible. I must admit I messed up this run quite a bit, having lost the harbor a few times, losing all the income in a day, which could be even around 10 gold. In this location, fire archers are gonna be vital, otherwise you will have a hard time dealing with the battering rams. You will also need some hunters, as there are many monsters in this level, especially during the boss fight. Some waves provide you some space and you don't feel so pushed back. This is the perfect opportunity for you to upgrade your harbors. If you have the challenge of the Death God active, hide your archers behind walls or other buildings. They must not be the first thing the enemies attack. Flails are very useful in this level as there are many enemies bunched up together. It is especially the monster swarms. Note that when the enemies are coming from the south, some of them go to the east side. Not many, so you should have it covered by your towers, but if you build a tower south, it might lure the majority of the attacking hordes east. One of the challenges in this level makes your buildings not repair fully at the end of the day. Once destroyed, you have to wait an additional day for them to rebuild. Keep this in mind and build the southern fortress at once. You want the walls as well as the towers, otherwise one would be destroyed and the other rebuilt, which makes the walls useless or the towers weak. The boss fight is where it gets interesting. Your main goal here is to upgrade certain towers with hot oil. Those should be able to deal with swarms of monsters pretty easily. You also need a couple of ballista towers to kill the boss. You should be able to get at least 3 hot oil towers and 2 ballistae. If you play your cards right, you might get 1 or 2 more. I might be in the wrong here, but I usually don't use the blacksmith. It takes 3 days for it to finish an upgrade. Therefore, you want to get it early, but early game you don't really have gold to spare. Position your units strategically and place the archers behind walls. Be ready to set them free once the boss spawns monsters inside your fortress. In case you are interested in advice in regards to a specific quest, let me know. I might even make a whole other video about that. I hope there was at least one thing you learned and that you found the video interesting. I would appreciate it if you let me know.